good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please tell us your full name?
William Ferdinand Dore.
And your honors?
CSM, Companion to Star of Merit, MBE, Member of the British Empire, and JP. But the first one was the MBE, mainly because of my interaction with clubs and sports. A bit with 4-H and quite a bit with Scout. At one time I was Chief Scout Commissioner. When the Queen came in 1964, I was Chief Scout Commissioner. And I used to be involved with Southwell in Arts Festival and all those kinds of things and so on. So that came from out of that. And I tell you, the first time they sent to tell me that they recommended me to the Queen to get some honors, I tell them, keep it to them. Because I wasn't working for the Queen. I was working for the people inside the place here. And if anything, they want to give me $10 a month of my salary.
Thank you. So where and when were you born?
I was born in Low Street, Charlestown, Nevis on July 7th, 1925.
25. For some reason I thought you had connections with Bath Village.
Yes, my father is from Bath Village. My mother is from Low Street. But I lived most of my time with my paternal grandmother at Bath Village.
Okay. And where did you go to school?
Charlestown Boys School. After a private school run by a young lady called Maud something, Teacher Maud.
Would that be Maud Cross?
No.
Oh.
Maud Cross is a higher body than that. Maud Cross was pupil teacher about the time when I was pupil teacher.
Oh, okay.
This was a lady that had been a pupil teacher, failed, dropped out, and ran some small kind of preschool in Bath Village.
Okay. So what was Charlestown like when you were growing up?
Small, quiet, laid back, in the middle of the town, mainly business places, but on the fringes like Low Street and over by the market area, and stretching across toward the boglands and onto cedar trees, where they were the most residential, and Government Road, Happy Hill, and those areas were residential areas. But mostly in town were business places. And
you told me a story once about the lighting of Charlestown in the night.
Oh yeah. Well, in those days we had no electricity, and they had gas lamps, and those gas lamps used to be lit and put at about 6 o'clock and taken on at about 10 o'clock. Somehow Mowbray was involved in that business. Between himself and a fellow called Harold Nanton, I think. They're people I associate with that very, very closely.
So they were taken down because the gas expired, or because...
No, but nobody wants light after 10 o'clock. People go and sleep in Nevis, man. No.
Okay, so there was no...
Not too much of that.
All-night groceries?
No. People close their shops at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A little cricket, football, a little athletics. There was no netball. I think only the girls, the Miss Bridgewater's high school played netball. And they played netball like about once or twice a week on the grounds of the St. Paul's Rectory. The place gave them a place to put on the netball court.
Miss Bridgewater's high school?
Yeah.
I never heard about that.
Never heard of that?
No.
Yeah, there was a woman called I think it's H. Lynn Bridgewater, who lived in a house at the bottom of Government Road on the right at the corner there. And she, I think her father was a Methodist minister. And in my early days I heard tell that he was responsible for building this boys' school and the Methodist church. Whether that is true or not, I don't know, but I heard that. And there were 3 crucial Bridgewater people there. She, who ran called it a high school, because 1 or 2 people who went there passed school certificate. And another sister, Nellie Bridgewater, she was a librarian. And another sister was the postmistress. But Aislinn Bridgewater, she was a crucial person in the early days in education in Nevis. Because there are a couple of people I can tell you who got school certificate out there. Eugene Walvin got school certificate out there. Millicent Byron became head teacher about Blaisdon here at high school. Willie Byron, all the Byron boys went there. The one became a minister, a Methodist minister. Yeah. Then there was Howard Byron, he got school certificate there too. Rupert Byron, about 3 or 4 brothers went to school there.
So it was a private high school?
Private high school. Yeah. Okay. In the later stages, an Englishman called Harvey Haddon came to Nevis to live, built a home at Jessop's called the Mount. And he was very interested in education. He had an MA, I think, of Cambridge, at Cambridge, but he was very wealthy. And he used to give a fair amount of money to the school. And he went to the school level and taught French, because he was fluent in French, Italian, English, German.
All this predates Charlestown Secondary School?
Yeah, Charlestown Secondary School came about 1950 or thereabouts.
Okay. What was the police force like? What was firefighting like in Charlestown at that time?
Oh, firefighting was a small hand thing you push. 2 people push it wherever there was a fire, and they took hoses, and whoever could went with them and helped them to put out fire if there was a fire. The police, we had about 8 policemen in Charlestown, headed by a sergeant, probably a corporal or 2. Lance Corporal.
What kind of work the police had to do at that time?
Oh, they patrolled the streets. They patrolled. I mean, they were regular. At certain hours, 3, 4 policemen will go out, and you have beats. Yes, areas they move around at and so. And I think probably had about 2 or 3 hour or 4 hour beat spell. So somebody will march down 4 policemen from the Charlestown police station, relieve the 4 who are out on duty, take them back to the police station.
So the police station was located?
It is now still.
Okay. Well, what sort of crimes did they have to fight at that time?
Oh man, well, a couple of beatings, a couple of stealings, the obstreperous ones who felt that they should do their own thing and no government should tell them what to do. So for example, people who planted cotton, there's a cotton growth season, and the regulations were burn all the plant residues to make sure that you are killing the pests. They wouldn't be there for the beginning next season. But a lot of people didn't believe in Nevis that anybody should come and tell them what they should do with things on their land. And there were some big tussles about that. After people went to, they had cotton inspectors who went around to inspect the lands to make sure that the protocols were being followed. And after they became some kind of obstreperous, year after year, there were actually prosecutions were done. And I remember one big prosecution was done. A new magistrate came in, a chap called Hugh Burroughs, and all these people came down to him and so on. He just had them £5, £7, £10, £12, and so on. And people from Brownies, they'd be paying nothing. And so I marched into him one morning, about 25 of them, said, look, we come, lock it up, we're not paying any money. And I don't know what they settled at. I think Father Thomas, the Anglican priest, had to come in to do some mediation and stuff there. Because he and Boris were very good friends. But what I know happened is that a few days later, I learned that galvanized could melt. I didn't know that before. This warden man came in with a new car, the government house grounds, public works fixed up, garage frame with galvanized on top and on the side and scantling on the side and so. And they had a fire the night, mysterious fire. And in those days, when there was a fire, there was a big bell in the middle of Charlestown by a sandbox street, just outside Stanley Henville's house. And you ring this bell and people hear the fire, and fire government house, and all of us, a number of us ran up there. When we got there, the first things the fellow tried to do, hook up for water, no water. Check up down below, the pipe burst somewhere down the road. So they couldn't put out the fire. Everything just burnt, blazed. But the galvanized burnt. I saw galvanized, but I didn't know you could do it.
About what year was that?
Oh boy, that would have been about, yeah, it got to be around about, I'd say about early 40s.
Okay, are there any other remarkable features about Charlestown at that time as opposed to how it is today?
Not really, you know.
Was the hospital located in the same place?
Same place, Alexandria Hospital, much smaller. It was much smaller. And the what they call the infirmary in those days, which is now the old people's home, was much smaller. It had about 2 or 3 people in that.
It's now the Flamboyant.
Flamboyant, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so you grew up, you went to Bastia Boys, Charlestown Boys School.
Well, I went to this young lady's, well, my school didn't start in the school. My schooling started at home. Okay. My grandmother was a person who went to the 3rd standard in the primary school. But she read the Bible every morning and every evening. And she had a library in the front of the room, front room. At the bottom was a large Bible, King James Version, names of members of the family, children and grandchildren, all that written up. On the top of above that was marked line upon line and precept upon precept. Above that was the Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. There was a thing marked the Basket of Flowers, and there's an Anglican, ancient and modern book on top of that. There was this little pyramid against the wall. And every morning and afternoon she would religiously take this down and read. And when I was like 1 or 2, I listening to what she's saying and so on, and learning up some of these things. So by the time 3, I was identifying things and so on. She said, well, look, you gotta go to school. So she sent me to the private school over Teacher Maud. And I learned there pretty rapidly. So rapidly that when I became 5 and I came to the Charlestown Boys School, the headmaster, old cross, but he said, junior standard. So my grandmother said, no, this boy could read and stuff and so on. She said, well, he could read or not, you're going to need junior standard. So to junior standard I went. Sit down in the class watching some children in standard 1 and standard 2, and they having difficulty calling words and stuff, and I look at them, I laughing at them. Because in junior standard, they have something to say, B-A tibat, M-A tibat, this guy says, I read the sheet. And I joke, I go way beyond that. But I spent 6 months there, and I came with my aunt to St. Kitts to live, to Bastia. And I got a pass from school saying I was in junior standard. Well, when I came to my father, he said, well, can you read? So I said, sure. Bring something, New Testament, and I'm reading things and so on, New Testament. And he found that I had memorized some stuff from the New Testament by now. So he spoke to Mr. Beach, and Beach said, 9 and 5, 4 times 3. A couple of things like that. Spell this, spell that. And so she said, no, but he won't be in junior standard. So Beach took me to school, and they put me in standard 1, where a chap called Evan Nisbet was the pupil teacher. Beach told him, have an eye on this youngster, and at the end of the day, tell me what you think about you in the class and so on. But I don't know what he told Beach, but when I came next morning, they started move from 1st standard to 2nd standard. So I went to 2nd standard, spent a day in 1st. There was a fellow, Alvin Jacobs, he was a pupil teacher too. And Beach told him, have a look at me for the week, and so I'll report at the end of the week. I don't know what they reported, but at the end, when I came to school the following week, I was in third standard.
Wow.
Spent about 4, 5, 6 months in third standard, examination, promoted to the fourth. Come back to Nevis now like about a year and a half after, with a pass in standard 4. And I said, no, it's mad, it can't be no standard 4. A little while ago you were in junior standard, but try me out with things and see I could do what they were doing and stuff. And so I left it in. So that kind of meteoric movement at the bottom propelled me up to a middle school by 8, 9.